great to be here. I'm super excited to talk with everybody today and just to go through my journey and where I'm at and talk about these core principles and how really important they are to build such a solid foundation, not just for your business, but for yourself too. Again, coming back to what I was talking about, it's really about mindset and how you feel and how you're projecting yourself into the people that you're putting yourself in front of. So, a little bit more background about myself. I'm a mom of two kids. I worked in corporate for many years and one day decided instead of working 16 hours for someone else, I'm going to go work 16 hours for myself. And that kind of started my journey of becoming an entrepreneur, owning several businesses, having several family owned businesses, and enjoying what I do and being able to come out here and help empower women, showing them, it's beyond trends, that really having marketing, really having a business is not as hard as a lot of people make it out and seem to be. And I'm really excited to go over this information with everybody today. So, like I'd mentioned, I was working 16 hours in corporate, just feeling like I was on a normal routine. My mindset was down, not happy with what I was doing. And so I decided to take things into my own hands. I went in and found all and every training I could, taught myself how to code, taught myself more about social media, about building websites, because I was really ingrained of wanting to do something and to make an impact. And so then I started working online, and at the time, there wasn't a lot of resources. I wasn't finding a lot of other women in business. I'm trying to find like a mentor, somebody that I could work with to kind of show me the ropes. And I went out at it alone for quite a few years. And I came into an aha moment where I was like, well, I'm doing this, I'm successful. There have to be other women that are in my situation that are moms or women who want to leave the corporate world, have their own thing, make an impact and a stamp on the world. And so I came up with my implementation program. And so what I do is I have two sides to my business. I have my comprehensive marketing packages, which are for larger businesses, for like B2B, largest coaches and consultants who've been doing this for as long as I have. And then we opened up what we call our implementation program. And in our implementation program, it is for women in business. We support a lot of diverse women in business as well, other minorities and whatnot. And we offer a package where, for a fraction of the cost, they get access to our team, and we're able to sit there and help them work through their mindset, work through, the challenges that they're facing with trying to get a business up and off the ground whilst they're working through their 9 to 5 and what that looks like. And so I'm able to do that because I've been doing this for so long and having a systems in place, and having that solid foundation has allowed me to do this and reach out and help more women kind of get out there. And so, talking about these core principles, these are things that you can take into many aspects of like life and in business, knowing that you have the solid foundation. And so the first core principle that I want to talk about is called leadership. And in being leadership, you want to be the first. And I know you're saying, well, hello, be the first. There's so many businesses. I have so many competitors. What you're looking to do is to take this first core principle of leadership, and it's not about being the best, but it's about being the first. So you want to think of it as brands like Glossier and Bumble, right? They weren't necessarily the first in their industries, but they were the first to do it in a way that resonated with women and captured their attention. So being the first allows you to define the category. It's like, what is it that you're doing? What is it that you're putting out there? How do you set the standard to be better, to do better, to make that impact with whom it is you want to work with, and build that loyal following before the competition even catches up? So what you want to do is you want to really start doing research. You want to identify the gap in your marketing. What is it that you are doing that is beyond what your competitors are doing? What is uniquely you as a leader in the field of what you're doing? Are you offering a unique solution? Are you offering a unique approach? Are you crafting a compelling brand story that positions yourself as that leader in what you're doing? And then all these core principles really build off itself. So really in your mindset of it all, thinking of yourself, positioning yourself as that leader. I know a lot of times, as women in business, we see other women as competitors instead of building one another up and working alongside one another. So really finding yourself in a position of, okay, I am this leader. I am the implementation queen. And so setting myself apart from my competitors who've marketing agencies, people who help implement and do things for other businesses, finding what uniquely makes me me, and putting myself out there with that standpoint of like the language that I use, the women that I help, those who are not tech savvy, those necessarily don't have the time to then take their business beyond to the next thing. So the second category that then builds off leadership is category, like owning your niche, right? And I know a lot of times you'll hear gurus say like, oh, you have to niche down, or you have other ones telling you, oh no, you want to cast a wide net so that you catch something. For Yeah, I know, it's hilarious, right? So I've been doing this for so many years. I've tried these things. I've seen what does and doesn't work. I have people who come to me and they're like, okay, you know, I know what I'm doing. I just need you to do XYZ. If you're coming to me, it's because there was something I said or did that sparked your interest. And so when it comes to owning your niche, this second category, right, builds off the first one. You've got your leadership, you know what's going to set you apart. Now, let's find that sweet spot in your marketing, and you want to become that go-to expert in that specific area. So owning your niche is allowing you to attract like a highly targeted audience, build a strong community, and stand out from the generalist. You want to really find who it is that you're speaking to. Your language then needs to be crafted to hit those wants and needs of the people that you're speaking to. So for example, who I work with are women who are not tech savvy. A lot of times I work with retirees who have left corporate and really want to take their skills and build something with it. They want to become an author, they want to become some type of consultant or a coach or some type of leadership role. And so knowing what I craft and put out there then attracts those people. So you really want to identify like your passions and your expertise, right? So knowing your values, knowing your mission, and having that tailored to whom it is you want to work with, because you are not necessarily your niche or your target audience. And it doesn't always work out that way, because depending on what is it you want to do, what you're trying to provide people, the expertise you have, you really want to identify like what is it you're passionate about, what is your expertise in, and really lean into that to help find that niche. You want to research your market and find an underserved niche. So, for example, there's lots of women in business. There are lots of coaches and consultants out there who want to work with women only. But what is it in that group of women that you're talking about? And who can you really help with what you're offering, what your skills are, what your passion is? So, really delving in and finding more tidbits of information, and kind of breaking that down, because that will really help you craft that clear message that resonates with your target audience. And that really helps because once you're speaking to whom you want to be in front of, then that next step and the next core principle is the mind. So, how are you going to connect with this audience emotionally? So, this third principle of the mind is about understanding that. Marketing isn't about logic, it's about emotions. You're really wanting to hit that certain part of their brain to let them know what is it that you're helping them with. How can you stand out and really be there for them with what you're offering? You want to help people make that decision based on how they feel. So you really want to connect with your audience in an emotional level that builds trust, it builds loyalty, and really creates a lasting impression with whomever you're putting yourself in front of. And so, again, coming through that mind thing, it took me a very long time to be confident and push myself out as the implementation queen. I've had my clients calling me this for years. And it was more of like a shy factor, not having the mindset to be like, well, if I'm putting myself out there as this, what are people going to think of me? And I've gotten to the point, like in business and just in life in general, especially being a mom of girls. Well, you know what? If I'm not their cup of tea, they can go have coffee with somebody else. And so, what you really want to do with this principle of connecting emotionally with your audience and really building that mind around it, share your brand story authentically. What is your why? Why are you doing this? Why do you want to help who you want to help? You really want to use storytelling to connect with your audience emotions, meet them at their level, connect with them with what is it that they're going through, what are you helping them with, how are you finding them that solution to those problems. You really want to create an experience that resonates on a deeper level with them, so that you again are building that trust, because that's so important, like nowadays, with having that trust, having that loyalty, and really showing people what you can do for them and what that means for them just in life and in business. Then the next principle we're going to go through is perception. So like how are you shaping your brand's image? So this fourth principle, it's about shaping your brand as it's perceived by your audience. So how do they see you? Your brand image influences how people feel about your business and whether they choose to engage with you, whether they choose to buy your services from you or not. What you really want to do is you want to develop a consistent brand identity. Are you using the same brand colors? Are you using the same logo across all the social media platforms you're on? If you do have a website, when you're coming on and doing live speaking, things like this, are you creating that recall in people's mind? If they see you on one platform and then you show up on another, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I remember who that is. Oh, this is great that I'm finding them here. Are you really delivering your brand's promise? Are you exceeding your customers' expectations? Are you saying one thing, but then you're delivering something completely different, kind of like a bait and switch? Or are you really authentically being there for your clients, for the people you're trying to connect with, and delivering on that promise that you've given them? You really want to manage your online reputation and respond to feedback. So, community management is a big one that a lot of people miss out on. You're sitting here and you're posting to social media. People are commenting on your things. They're DM you in your inbox. I'm not saying you have to respond within 24 hours, but you really want to take a moment and making sure that you're connecting with the people reaching out to you with questions. You're answering their DMs. I know in the world that we're in today, there is a lot of spam. I trust me, I get it. I actually have someone that helps me with a lot of my DMs and my social media because I'm constantly being spammed with cold DM messages about selling me someone's services or someone's XYZ program. And that's just a part of what we deal with nowadays. So having someone to help you do that, it's actually really imperative because I get thousands of notifications a day on several different platforms, which is amazing and exciting. But I don't want those people to feel like they're not being connected with. So being able to like, oh, I'll get back to you, or oh, I'll get this message to Candace and she can let you know. You really want to have that perception of what you're delivering out there for people to feel comfortable. And again, it comes back to building that trust and building that loyalty. The last core principle that we're going to go through is called focus. So, focusing like on your messages. It's about owning the single word or concept in the customer's mind of what you're doing, what they're perceiving about you. So, in a world of endless choices, focus helps you cut through all the noise and stand out as a solution to a specific need. So, how you're going to do this is identify your unique selling position. What is it that uniquely about you that you're selling, that you're putting out there? How are you crafting this clear and concise message that communicates your value of what it is you're doing and offering? And you want to consistently reinforce that message. So, for example, making yourself kind of stand out in your unique selling position. I've done white label work with other agencies before behind the scenes, helping them build their systems, working kind of as a fractional CMO for them. And so I worked with this one agency that had a client that was a coach, and they were having a hard time of positioning her, getting her out there, getting her in front of people. And one day we were on a call with her, and she was holding one of her chickens, and she was like actually outside in her yard. She had tons of chickens. It was something she was passionate and she loved doing. And we're like, well, what a unique concept. We never knew this about her. It was something she was passionate and really loved. We're like, well, why don't we use that in her marketing? So literally did a photo shoot of this woman with her chickens and brought in the messaging of like, instead of saying, are all your ducks in a row, are all your chickens in a row? And so her working as that like business and mindset coach, helping with a little bit of, being a little funny, grabbing people's attention, and really just honing in on like, this is what she loves to do. This is what uniquely makes her her. And it really helped her stand out amongst the rest and amongst the competition. So you really want to make sure what you're saying, what you're putting out there, you're speaking to your niche, you're authentically being you, you're really wanting to like pull all these core marketing principles together. It's really going to help you build, a legendary brand. You can make something that thrives in this market that's happening right now.